Hello, and thank you for joining me. Just want to share with you a prayer Jesus commanded us to pray. It never would have occurred to me to pray this prayer 10 years ago or so, because the theological implications of this prayer are very much at odds with the theology I used to hold. I was pretty reformed in my theology: grace alone, faith alone, penal substitution, imputed righteousness of Christ, eternal security, those kinds of things. And so if I had ever heard someone pray this prayer, or if anyone had ever tried to teach me this prayer, I probably would have wanted to correct them, would have wanted to try to help them understand the gospel more accurately, help them understand the nature of salvation more accurately. It comes from Luke chapter 21, verses 34 to 36. Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and the anxieties of life. And that day will close on you suddenly like a trap, for it will come on all those who live on the face of the whole earth. Be always on the watch, and pray that you may be able to escape all that is about to happen, and that you may be able to stand before the Son of Man. So Jesus commands his disciples to pray that they will be able to stand before him, that they will have the strength to stand before the Son of Man. And of course, it never would have occurred to me to pray something like that some years ago, because I didn't think there was any question about whether or not I'd be able to stand before the Son of Man. Because I thought, well, I'm saved by grace alone and covered in his imputed righteousness. And so this kind of prayer, it would have felt very awkward, very strange to pray this. But Jesus commanded us to pray it. And that's because Jesus does not think of salvation. He doesn't think about the coming day of judgment when we're going to have to stand before him. He doesn't think about that the way evangelicals are taught to think about those things. He obviously doesn't think that there's some kind of guarantee that we're going to be able to stand before him. He doesn't think that, it's a sure thing that the day of judgment is going to go well for his disciples. There's meaningful responsibility on us. There is something we need to do in order for us to be able to stand before him. And so we should pray to the Father that we will have the strength to one day look Jesus in the eye and give him an account and have it go well. Have him say to us, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And there's an aspect to this that is on our shoulders. There's a part of this that Jesus is not going to do for us. We need to be careful that we don't get weighed down with carousing and drunkenness and the anxieties of life, which many professing Christians are. So anyway, there's not really much more I need to say about this. I think it speaks for itself. Just want to encourage you, whoever you are, if you've never prayed a prayer like this, start praying on a regular basis that God will give you the strength, that he will help you to be able to stand before the Son of Man. And if that feels somehow in tension with your theology, if that feels somehow out of sync with the gospel as you understand it, then allow the implications of this prayer to change your understanding of the gospel and adjust your theology to what Jesus is saying here. Thank you so much for listening. May God help us to have the strength to stand before the King when the time comes.